Hi, so I'm just get my tea. For this little video nugget, we're going to talk about why there's been an increase in fundamentalism. Now, if you got asked this for a 20-mark essay, you'd want at least 4 or 5 reasons minimum that there's been an increase in fundamentalism. So if you want to go off, read through your notes or the revision book. It's certainly in there in a I'll show you the page actually, in a kind of miniature format. So where is it? And if you haven't got this booklet, have a look at this page. I could have got this organised before, arguably, couldn't I? Where on earth is it? Here we go, fundamentalism. So I've kind of reduced it to that. Can you see that? That in the booklet. So if you want to have a quick look at that, I'm going to go through it using the bigger booklet. And I'm going to follow it because I want to do it in the order that we did it in class, so it's not confusing. If you want to just listen to this and then test yourself, of course do that. So I remember when we went through this in class, I tried to put it into separate paragraphs. So you could imagine an essay being just a set of paragraphs, and in each one, of course, applying it directly to the title, giving your evidence and some facts, and then evaluating it. Okay, so I started off, reason 1, arguably there's been an increase in fundamentalism. We talked about Giddens, who talks about how fundamentalism is so at odds with cosmopolitanism. And what cosmopolitanism is, just a load of big words, is a very kind of liberal lifestyle. I think I've said to you, I always think of the cocktail, the Cosmopolitan, which they used to drink on Sex and the City. Clearly that show represents extremely liberal lifestyles in, I think it was New York, wasn't it? Drinking, drug taking, a lot of premarital sex, homosexuality, etc. Things that a fundamentalist may find very hard to stomach indeed. And therefore, Giddens says that cosmopolitan lifestyles can lead to an increase in fundamentalism. Now, what fundamentalists, he argues, find very difficult to understand is this idea that we're reflexive thinkers even. So that might mean really just seeing grey area, thinking, I went out and got very drunk last night and did something very silly. Clearly I wouldn't. And today I feel mingingly hungover, and on reflection, I will decide not to do that again, but I'm not going to hate myself forever, etc., etc. Grey areas, thinking of the consequences, but not really condemning that behaviour, just thinking maybe it's not a good idea to do it again for a while. If you're a fundamentalist, there are no grey areas, it's black and white. This way you're going to heaven, this way you're going to hell. There is no room for debating grey areas. And so that kind of cosmopolitan lifestyle will be very hard to take indeed. Okay. So that's reason 1, that there's maybe been an increase in fundamentalism. Reason 2 is as a response to postmodernity. Now, this is quite a similar idea. Yes, I am doing it in the same order. So I remember we discussed what postmodern disposition or lifestyles might look like. Lots of choice, no fixed identities, media saturation, rejection of meta-narratives. Now, clearly, rejection of meta-narratives is going to be a really tough one for a fundamentalist to get their head round, because the whole idea of a fundamentalist organisation is you have one truth, one meta-narrative that you are going to stick to literally through thick and thin. And so that, again, that kind of wishy-washy thinking isn't going to go down well with fundamentalist organisations. Equally, things like having choice. Will I have children before marriage? Do I want to be part of this religion? Or maybe I want to be secular or join another religion. This kind of freedom to choose is going to be very upsetting to fundamentalist organisations who want you to only see the world from their perspective and not to have personal choice. What else did I say? So, media saturation, oddly, is the one bit of a postmodern lifestyle that actually fundamentalists might make some use of. So that could be an evaluation to that point. Castell says that as a result of all this postmodern liberalism and freedom, no fixed identities, that it's led to something called resistant identity. So Castell's resistant identity. And that's the idea that there's been an increase in fundamentalist activity or groups who are trying to resist that postmodern freedom of choice of identity, sexually, religiously, gender, everything is up for grabs. And that's led to an increase in fundamentalists trying to reduce that and bring everyone back to these very, very traditional scriptures. Okay, so that's point 2. So point 1, the reaction to a cosmopolitan lifestyle. Point 2, a reaction to the postmodern disposition. Now, I'm actually going to stop this and carry on the next video, because otherwise it's very hard to upload. Okay, see you in a minute.